What's going on? It's Nate back at again with another video. So today we're going to talk about what I wish I knew sooner. So these are going to be some of the, I guess, tips and tricks and things I've discovered over the last 6 months or so. That if I had figured this out, a couple years ago, I'd be in a whole different spot in my life. And so I've spent a lot of time figuring these things out. I've spent hours and hours and hours and weeks and months studying and researching the mind. The way things work, the way the world works, and the way you could use it, you can work with it because, like I tell all my clients, the laws are always working. So whether you work with them or against them is up to you, but they're always working. And so once I kind of discovered the way that things work, and once you have an understanding of the way things work, you understand that there's no way to fail ultimately because your belief creates the fact. So if you believe whatever you're doing, whatever you're starting, whatever you're getting into is going to succeed, if you believe with your full faith, with your full heart, with your full mind that it is going to be successful. Now, you can't control when, right? I'm not saying you're going to start the business and make money that day. But if you believe in it, if you see it, if whatever you believe will your belief creates the fact. That's the best way to say it. So, I didn't know this, right? So I always kind of ask myself like, could I do this? Can I do this? I don't know how to do this, can I do this? Can I make money online? Like, can I? Well, the truth is you could do anything. And it sounds so cringy, that's why I overlooked it for so long. But it's true. But you have to believe that you can do it, right? And so how do you believe you can do something is you have to overcome your mind. You have to program your mind to see yourself as that person, to see yourself as someone who does that, first to see yourself as someone who accomplishes those things. And once I made that shift, once I stopped asking how and stopped saying, "Can I do this? Is this possible?" And I had an understanding of the way things work, and I had faith in myself. I have faith. You have to ultimately it comes down to self-confidence. When you believe that you can achieve anything because all things are possible through God, right? When you believe that and you truly believe that. Now, saying you believe it and actually believing it are very different. But when you truly believe it and you truly can walk on that path, you can achieve anything. That's when you're unstoppable. You have to have so much self-confidence. And I guess my story for this is in December when I was making all these changes to my life, there was no physical results or physical evidence that any of it was going to work. There was no physical evidence that I was going to succeed, right? There was no physical evidence that I was making the right decision. None of that. But you have to have self confidence, right? So even in the uncertainty, even in the doubt, even in the fear, even in the anxiety, you have to almost trick yourself into thinking it doesn't bother you. You have to, excuse me, walk with such confidence that the logistics of it don't bother you. The fact that it could not work doesn't bother you because you're not going to allow that to happen. And so many people, when they go to make a change, or if you go to make a change, they'll be like, "Oh, well, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens?" That only happens if you let it. Like, unless it's something that's completely out of your control, which most things aren't completely out of your control. 99% of the things I believe you have control over. You may not realize it, but your previous thoughts are what have brought you to where you are today. So ultimately, you have control. So when you're going through these what ifs and you're holding these images in your mind of, well, what if I do this and then I lose it all? And then you're sitting here pondering on what would happen if you did that. Yeah, you are bringing that to your reality. You are slowly deteriorating your confidence. You're destroying all self confidence. You're destroying your faith every second that you spend thinking about the downside. I don't spend any time thinking about what could go wrong. And you could say, well, you're not prepared. You're not prepared. No, because guess what? Things don't go wrong when you don't prepare for them. And when things do go wrong, it's minor, right? I'm not saying I live a perfect life, but if I sat here and I was like, well, what if I started trading and then I bought the wrong stock and I lost all my money? Yeah, right? I could sit here and think about that all day long, but I don't. So it doesn't happen. I'm smarter. I'm confident. I know it's not going to happen. And that's what you have to do. And a lot of people don't like that because a lot of people don't have confidence in themselves. But that's how you're going to succeed. Because you have to be able to have faith in the unseen. That is what faith is, believing in the unseen. So if you want to create something from nothing, because that is what your ideas are, right? If you are creating this business, and say you're starting a new business, you are creating something out of thin air, right? You are having these ideas You are originating these thoughts that are coming that you are going to bring into the physical world. You are turning nothing into something. Like, I don't think people understand the power of that. And you have to have faith that, you're getting these ideas for a reason. You're put on this path for a reason. And you can achieve anything because you could turn anything into anything because everything's already here. And I know it sounds like I'm kind of jumping around with words, but that's ultimately what it comes down to is creation is finished. So everything you've ever wanted already exists. And I know it sounds crazy when I say this, but the version of you living the life you want to live is like it already exists because for you to become that person, you are not creating new things. You are simply reorganizing essentially, and you are aligning with who you want to be. So now, how do you align with who you want to be, right? So you need to figure out who you want to be. People don't know that. You got to figure out who you want to be. You have to know where you are right now. You'd be honest with yourself. What is your current situation? You know, what's your financial situation, your mental situation, your physical situation? You need to be honest with yourself and take inventory, essentially. And then from there, you figure out, what do you want? How do you want to live? Where do you want to live? How much do you want to make? You got to figure out every little detail of your life. And once you have this figured out, you have to become that person right now. So you essentially figure out who you are right now, literally, figure out who you want to be, and then that's who you are now. And the physical results aren't going to come right away. It's going to take a lot of time. Some things are fast, something's going to happen overnight. Like, I'm serious. I've had some things that I decide on and it can change overnight. And there's some things that you desire that'll take months or years because it's not your timing, it's God's timing, right? So he's not going to give you these things if you're not ready for them. And so the time of hardship, the time of struggle, the time of, stillness is to prepare you for what is to come. And so you can't rush it. You have to enjoy the journey because seriously, the journey is the best part. And I'm on my journey, obviously, but it's like seeing your visions literally come to the physical world. Like, I used to visualize myself on meetings with clients or students or whatever term you want to use, like on Zoom, going like one on one, helping them with mindset, helping them with, with finances, whatever it is. I would literally visualize myself doing that. And then last night it hit me. I was on a call with one of my students and I was like, I'm living in my like I created this in my mind. Like, this was once in my mind. This was once a thought. This was once an idea. And I'm doing it. Like, I don't think you guys understand how crazy that is. And that's how your whole life works, right? You are creating these ideas, and that's what creates the fact. Your belief creates a fact. You generate these ideas, you believe it will occur, and you take the actions, and it will occur. And so that's probably the biggest thing I've learned is you have to have an understanding of the way the world works. Anything is possible. All things come from God. So there's no limit, right? So the pie is infinite, right? Because God is infinite. There's no limit to what he can supply. So any limits you put on your, and you were created in God's image, right? It says that in the Bible. So if you were created in God's image and God is infinite, the only limits you are placing on yourself are the ones in your mind. Because your creative abilities, there is no limit to them, right? There's no limit. So the only way you are limiting yourself is through your intellectual faculties, right? Is through your perception, through your reason fact, all these different faculties, all your conditioning. And so the best way I can describe it is your mind is like a light bulb. It's like electricity. So you could plug one bulb into a socket and it's pretty dim, right? It's not very bright. It's kind of yellow. You don't really like it. And then you could, untwist it, put another bulb in, and it is the brightest bulb you've ever seen. It lights up the whole room. It's extremely, bright white. It looks like you're looking at the sun. It's not the electricity that changed, it's the light bulb. And your light bulb is your ideas. Your light bulb is your mind. Your light bulb is your thoughts, feelings, and actions. You have the power flowing through you at all times. You have access to everything you've ever needed, but you have to plug in that bulb, which I know it sounds crazy, but this is the best way I can say it is it's not a matter of getting something, it's a matter of plugging in the right bulb. So another example is an acorn, right? It's either create or disintegrate, right? Everything's, you're either moving forward or you're moving backward. You're never staying the same. So if you plant an acorn in the ground, right, it is going to attract everything it needs to attract to grow into an oak tree. That's the way it works, right? Because the nucleus of it is causing it to grow into that, and it can't alter its nucleus. It can't alter what it is growing into because it operates by instinct. Like, it doesn't have creative abilities, right? It's an acorn. Obviously, it doesn't have creative abilities. So people, we work the same way, but we can change our idea. We can change our light bulb. We can change the image in our mind. And that is what changes what you attract and the life that you live. So if you want to, but the problem is everybody jumps around. So one day you want to be this, and the next day you want to be that, and the next day you want to be that. You have no time to grow. You're not allowing anything to happen. You're wanting to bear the fruits before you even plant the seed, right? The spiritual world and the physical world work by the same laws: the law of gender, law of gestation. Everything has an incubation period, right? Everything has to grow. Everything has to have a period of incubation where it grows into what it is becoming. So it's the same thing with like a baby, right? It takes what, 9 months or whatever. But your ideas is the same way. You're not going to have a new idea and instantly, bam, it's already done. I can't tell you what your gestation period is going to be, but there is one. Some things will take a day, some things will take a week, some things will take 2 years, 10 years, 20 years. I can't tell you the answers to this, but I'm just saying you need to figure out what you want and just stick with it. That's why shiny object syndrome is so dangerous, because people jump around like, I want to do this. Oh, I want to do this now. I want to do this now. And that's why they never get anything. They never go anywhere, because they're busy starting over at step one every other day. But if you pick something, right, genuinely think about what you want. Okay, yeah, you might try a few things and realize, oh, that wasn't for me. But if you're just chasing, whatever's shiny that day, you're not giving yourself any time to grow into that. You're not giving yourself any time to actually develop that. So if you want to actually change and you want to actually grow into someone new, you have to pick your future life, design it, draw it out. You get to pick it and stick to that every single day. So the way I do that is every morning and every night I journal and I write my future life that I'm currently living in, right? You write it about the life that you want to live, but you write it in present tense, and while you're writing it, you imagine yourself living that life. So every day I'm basically watering that seed. And that's the plan, right? That's what you want to do. And so I wrote for months that I want to mentor people. I want to help other people. I want to help people change their lives the way I'm changing mine. And then now, like, I'm getting the sprouts, right? I got my first students. I'm now able to help them. And I know it's just the beginning. I said I want to make money online. Now I'm making some months more money online than I am from my detailing business. So it's like, it takes time, and you have to be okay with that. You have to take action, right? Some people are going to move faster than others. Everybody's different because everybody started from a different spot. Like, I've been doing business entrepreneur type things for 6, 7, 8 years. I started when I was like 13. I was in middle school, like fifth, sixth, seventh grade. I don't remember how old I was, and I was doing it, right. And so I didn't know any of the mindset stuff, and so I was always trying to grind my way to the top, and I would always hit that wall. And then I'd start a new business, and then I'd kind of, take it to where I could. But it would always take me so long because I wasn't using the mindset part of it. I was just kind of taking one step after another. But this is how you change your life. You have to just skip all the steps, skip the baby steps, just go where you want to go. But nobody will do it because it seems illogical, it seems unreasonable, it seems unrealistic. And so it stops everybody. There's no competition. Everyone thinks there's a bunch of competition to achieve their goals. There's no competition because nobody's doing it. Nobody takes action. And I don't mean that to diss people, but it's true, right? People say, I want this, I want that. They don't do a single thing. If you say you want to, I want to double my income, and then I look at your day the next day and it's the same as the day before, how do you think your income's going to change? It's not. You have to take new actions. And so you have to figure out what you want, be as detailed as possible, and then stick to that. Stick to that one image. that one version of yourself. And the more you water that seed, the faster it will grow. And that will eventually be your reality. Like it's happening to me right now. Every day, not every day, but you wake up and it's like something's happening and you're like, wow, you know, like this is my idea that I generated, I created, whatever, months ago. And now I'm living in it now because I took the actions, I had faith, and I didn't let the doubt, fear, and anxiety take me over because it's going to happen. You're going to have days where you feel like crap. You feel like nothing's working. You feel like you're on the wrong path. You feel like, it'd just be easier to stay in your old ways. It's going to happen. Your mind's going to try to take you to your old ways because that's what's comfortable. But you can't let it happen. That's how you're going to change. And so I tried to change last year and I didn't because I didn't have an understanding of all of this. And so that's what I'm trying to change. It's like my group, I'm providing you guys with the strategy, whatever, the one-on-ones. I'm giving you every resource you need to be a profitable trader, but it's so much more than that. Like you need to have the mindset. You need to see yourself as the person that makes money online. You need to see yourself as a trader because if you don't, you won't be one. Like I can give you every alert in the world. I can give you 100% win rate on the trades. You'll still find a way to lose. That's just the way it works. It happened to me. The market was going crazy and I still found a way to lose money. It was the mindset. I had the same strategy. I had the strategy, but I didn't have the mindset, right? So I'd oversleep on the days where the market was crazy. Things like that happen that you think are a coincidence. It's not. It's because you can't outperform your self-image. So if you want to change, if you want to actually become somebody new, you have to create a new self-image and hold that image in your mind. Because there's going to be first few days, it's easy, it's fun. Yeah, oh, I'm this new person. Oh, no, whatever. Now wait for a month when nothing's changed and you're still trying to ingrain this image in your mind that there's no physical evidence it's happening. There's no physical proof that it's going to happen. There's no physical proof that it's going to work, right? You have all these things going against you, but are you going to continue? Are you going to keep holding that image in your mind? Are you going to keep taking these actions that are uncomfortable? Because that is what separates people, right? Have you ever noticed rich people aren't necessarily smart? They're not necessarily, they didn't get good grades necessarily. Maybe they didn't even go to school. But guess what they do? They don't sit back and think about all the little details. They just take action. You just have to do it. You just have to do. Like stop if you get a business idea, don't worry about opening an LLC and then making a logo and no, get clients. Get money in the door. Show that there's a demand for it and then worry about all that. So many people spend so much time preparing that it never launches. Just launch and then prepare. Trust me. I think I'm going to cut that here because we're at like almost 20 minutes. But if you truly listen to that and take action on the things I'm saying, your life can change. It's just people don't like to hear it, but it's only you stopping you. There's nobody else stopping you. So it's like if you want it bad enough, you'll figure it out. Anything is possible if the desire is strong enough. So, all right. I talked really quiet this video. Hopefully the audio was good, but um I'll be back tomorrow probably. Another video. I don't know if you guys like this type. I know it's kind of low key, but it's just the real. I'm just being real. It's like, that's the way it goes. Today was one of those days where you're in your head, but got through it. We're good. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I almost didn't even make this video, but I was like, nah, I'm doing it. I don't care if I don't feel like it. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys got something from it. I'll see you tomorrow.